Bloodsworn corpse. There we go. Fated Bloodsworn. Bloodsworn manuscript excerpt. 800 XP and a chipped claw. Oh, and it's a normal page. Um, but yeah, I can't believe we found Ouroboros. Again, it's for the best that the wiki wasn't up to date, because otherwise that would have been spoiled all to hell on me when I looked it up previously. Was not expecting the Master of Necromancy. I'm gonna have to go back and tell the Order. Let's go to the Vanguard of the tree.
Have you executed our little plan?
Yes, the beast is dead. 4,000 XP, 8,000 iron, 250 rep. I knew it existed. This is a great victory for the tree and an affirmation of the glory of Besmel's web. Now we can move forward with our plans without worrying about the creature being used against us. Another victory for us.
Thank you for your assistance.
It's a relief to know the fanatics will not be harnessing another fiend against us.
Welcome back.
Is it done? Have you slain the messenger? The messenger is dead. You've banished the messenger. Why do I still sense its presence? Why does its fury still cloud my visions? Perhaps it cannot truly be killed, at least not by any means known to us. I believe you, but there may be something we don't know about this being. I'm concerned that this is not the end to its malice. 4,000 XP, 2,050 rep, 250 rep, and Eldritch essence. I'm pretty sure it's dead. I trust you. You seem certain you killed it, but death might not be the end. May not be the end of this foul creation of Korvac. Perhaps it's its connection to the forgotten god that allows it to endure. Perhaps it is rage manifest, such purity of raw emotion that it wills itself to endure beyond mortal wounds. Must discuss this with the elder seers. Thank you again for assisting in this matter. For now, at least, we can consider it settled. Can you tell me? For a moment, I saw the scream mask on her. What can you tell me about the messenger? Folktale, but the beast, but beast is banished now for what it's worth, thanks to you. Before you said something about it possibly returning. Indeed, that may not have been the end of this foul spawn. Its powerful influence over the minds of mortals is of grave concern. The messenger endured that may use this power to manipulate mortals and orchestrate its return. Maybe so.
Welcome back.
Your fate was written up.
The web is spun. Everything.
It is good.
My sentinels are ready. Let the blood of our enemies flow and the fires in their heretic hearts be quenched upon our blades.
Farewell. Pour it in. Got a bit more wrap. I really want to do the new quest. I'm really curious what the hell it is. Okay. We're gonna stroll again through Corvan City because I've missed a note somewhere. She's gone. We'll head back to Homestead and see what happened, what's there. Because, you know, if they're being thorough about this and doing it right, there should be some changes there. Like how, if you go to Homestead, she isn't there anymore. Well, she wasn't there previously. She should be back there now. There we go. So, let's go swing by the Necromancers. Still found it weird how they're both set up at the same fucking base, effectively. They want to gut each other and, you know, shite, and they're set up at the same fucking base. That rumble you hear there always sounds like someone belching. It's weird. Pains me to hear that we've come so close to finding our master again, only to have that hope be dashed. That hope dashed. I found Ouroboros, but he's no longer among the living. Can this be true? I've never thought that possible. Excuse me. Must think on this and what it means of our people. He sacrificed himself for all of Karn. Cairn. Battle ceaselessly in the name of Karn. We're honored to have you among us. Found Ouroboros, but he's no longer among the living. Are you certain of this? Master's power over death is beyond measure. How can this be? He sacrificed himself to stop a great calamity. This is difficult to comprehend, but if what you say is true, then our master died in the pursuit of our mission. I would appreciate if you keep this matter between us. This news will not be easily broken to our acolytes. Must find strength to continue our task, with or without Ouroboros' guidance. It will be difficult, but the order will endure. The guy ain't here. Wonder if I can pop over to Necropolis and tell him about it. He's not an acolyte. Will someone go and try and res Ouroboros? I'm not sure if these people will be potent enough to pull that off. I know someone like Ouroboros sounds like he'll be like typically the more in fiction the more powerful person is, the more difficult they are to res. Ouroboros is Ouroboros. You know, he sounds hysterically difficult. Was all this blood here previously? I think so. It feels so weird, firstly not having the messenger here, and not to have minions with me coming here. What? Are you really just leaving the corpse there? Like, really? I thought something new had happened. Ugh. Okay, so he isn't updated. And we can't say on to him. So there's a knock against this. She isn't here, and the... Yeah, okay, so I guess she just isn't back yet. Alright, fair enough, fair enough. Yeah, I can't believe Ouroboros is dead. This... Okay, I was not expecting this. Heresy! Tomb of the Eldritch Sun entrance. When the music started there, all I could hear was like doom music. It's not quite true, yeah, but that's all I could hear. Well, it's not an accurate reference to the music, but that's all I could hear for a moment. Ooh, Korvac's champion. It's nearly 6. I'll be stopping soon. From the looks of it, today might be the Korvac's Chosen and Olga the Everbound. Today might be the end of my playthrough of this. Okay, before we go any further, we have notes to read. Okay, nothing over there. We'll start with Bloodsworn manuscript. This parchment appears to have been torn out of some larger tome and is covered in a fresh layer of hastily written notes. What remains is covered in what you assume is human blood. Catan Toon, Herald of Darkness, we beseech you. Our Lord has fallen. By association with his blunders, we were made to suffer. But hear us, master of our blood, for we come bearing an offering. This land, these runes, they are brimming with power. Power which reeks of the enemies, of the dying one. We beseech you, with this offering of blood, come forth. May the shadows of the void fall in your wake. May the shadows of the void that fall in your wake, that the Eldritch sun be blotted out. And when the void has consumed this fallen kingdom, may we stand beside you with but a taste of your eternal glory. Then we shall go forth in your name, and gather blood from the unworthy. The remainder of the text is written in glyphs, and beyond your understanding, but peering upon them fills your head with thoughts of murder and spilled blood. Delightful. It seems Catan Tun was not interested in their offer. Vorik's letter to Bahan. Business is good, better than it's ever been. The new location has certainly paid off, at the heart of the marketplace near the spice merchants, during the week of ceremonies leading up to the Ascension, no less. Business is good indeed. The streets and alleyways surrounding the shop are overflowing with thousands of people as thousands of people come and go, procuring provisions, fine linens, food, and drink in preparation for the week's festivities. There are new customers too, and sellers of foreign goods, many more than I remember from years past. I think word has gotten out that the temple has once again felt the warmth of the Eldritch sun. Many have come from far and wide in hopes of laying eyes upon its splendor, or to make a tidy profit from the celebrations to follow. Tomorrow I shall prepare a small caravan and display my wares at the foot of the temple, just like we used to. The entire city will be gathered there to witness the chosen be selected from the temple's devotees. Everyone will gather there again, 3 days hence, when the procession enters the temple, and the chosen will give themselves to the Eldritch sun. Your great-grandfather used to tell me stories about these ceremonies in his day. He said that Korvac himself presided over them, deep inside the temple, convening with the chosen, leading them down into the temple's burning heart. The divine would sometimes bless his worshippers with a brief appearance outside the temple. His mere presence was likely enough to cure the ill and strike blind the wicked. Such a sight certainly has not happened in my lifetime. Not sure anyone living apart from the most devout priests has ever laid eyes on the Eldritch sun. Perhaps we're no longer worthy of such things. Perhaps we looked into our hearts and seen that all too many have come only to enjoy the festivities, no intention of truly paying homage or offering prayer. It's a different time, no doubt. Perhaps a good time. This city is as beautiful and radiant as it's ever been, and its people happy and successful. I wish I could be here to see it. I'll send this by caravan to Cairn, where hopefully it'll reach you when you return to port. Please, my son, consider coming to visit me. I would so love to hear of your adventures, off in the far off places you've been, of the exotic cities you visited. I know the life of a shipmate is a busy one, but do remember your old father. It won't be long before they take me to the sands and leave me for the good of the night creatures. They don't build temples for the crusty old merchants after all. With all my heart, your father, Yorvok. Day 33. Now we're free from all hindrance, free of the pretense of money making and investors. Ooh, this is the Corvan expedition. This is a separate one. I still need to go back out. It was just fort entry, job done. I thought it was oddly short, but fort entry. Now we are free from all hindrance, free of the pretense of money-making investors who are so concerned with their returns that they shackled us with a league of babysitters to watch over us. This morning, as our cohorts made their way back into the bathhouse for yet another day of sorting and cataloguing the belongings of dead people, Roderick and I barred the door shut from the outside, brimming with glee to think of the looks on their faces as they returned from a long day of grave robbing, only to discover that their treasure trove shall also be their tomb. We are of course alone now and without protection. However, travelling will be easier with just two of us, and I prepared a number of wards that should keep us well hidden and protected from the ravenous wildlife. Onward to the temple and the burning heart of the Corvan city. I am awe-stricken. I stand here after so desperate a journey, at the foot of a grand temple devoted to Korvac. The city of his name stretches out in all directions. Its buildings in ruins collapse as if kneeling to pay tribute to the Eldritch god. The scars of his wrath run deep through the very foundations of the infrastructure, evidence of the cataclysm which claimed these people centuries ago. There are ancient rivers of stone, now cooled and crystallized into black glass, great upheavals of jagged rock which pierce the buildings and form monuments to his anger. All lie in ruin but for the temple. There at its heart we shall find what we've come for, a power immutable, a wealth greater than all of its riches, a wealth greater than all of the riches of mankind. This we shall claim for ourselves. Dumbass. They come to outright claim a god's power. Again, that's really a good idea for mortals to try and pull off. Now, you're not the protagonist. So, you may want to avoid trying to piss off deities. You weren't too useful, were you? Oh, this is something. Oh, there's Master Harkin. Damn it, I could have had a chat with him. I didn't realize I missed a bit here. I would have obviously done so, and, we could see both sides of his dialogue now. But see, you're still in the fight, brother. It's... Okay, we can't actually... His conversation is the same as the first time you meet him here. And it hasn't changed to acknowledge the death of the other guy. So, yeah, that's a bit of a missed opportunity. Two of them. They're not really threats, it's just tedium. It seems that the Korvac struck during the celebrations. That's what it's coming off like here. Given that letter was never sent, or if it was sent, the guy'd come back with it. Oh, I actually missed a bit up here. Sunward Spire. Oh, isn't this similar design? Oh, Azion Griffin Sovereign? Cool. The Griffin Sovereign. It had an achievement, even little thing down here. Well, any achievement in game is also down there. Whatever. How's my homestead rep? Oh, so very close. Very close. But isn't that the same design from the, the thing that sealed in the other guy? The Ogorian? Okay, let's bring that up. I'm just going to see if there's a particular vase it drops out of or what. It actually drops just out of me here. Huh. And just north of me is the is another vase. Is the Corvin Expedition final entry. There's a few vases around here as well, called a few chests called Corvin Secrets. And apparently right where I am is a spawn point for Dravas. Also a thing over this way that you can interact with, apparently, and I did not notice it in the slightest. Okay, maybe can't interact with it. It's down here as mysterious statue. There's actually a few mysterious statues around the place. Oh, there's also actually a place I didn't go to. Maybe it's only on ultimate, or on a different difficulty. No, it's here, just not noted.
That's locked.
Map Rune of Ron. Here's a hidden corpse. Don't know what opens the map room. It's probably one of the cult quests. I just don't know which faction are at. But okay, this is interesting. But yeah, there's random chests around here that are down as the Corvin secrets. I don't know what's in them. Corvan SECR secrets. Okay, no. Oh, remember the shrine in the desert that I couldn't interact with? That's apparently where you summon a new super boss. Just stumbled onto that, spoiler. I intentionally, like, it was under a spoiler tag, I intentionally looked at it. But anyway, we now have all the notes, so we'll start reading. We'll finish this one first. Were the tales of Corvin legends untrue? Or were we led astray by false promises? What had white-hearted energy that once warmed the foundations of Corvin City? There is nothing, no revelation, no great power. The temple runs cold. Its heart, a blackened mass of a hardened mass of blackened glass. The great god who once dwelt here is gone. To where, I do not know. His fate is irrelevant to me. I only care for the power that lingered here, and it's all gone. I am alone now. A lifetime of work and friendship gone, wasted. Roderick lies dead, struck down by the ancient guardian of this place. The only indication that this place was ever worth a damn. Roderick gave his life so that I could reach the heart of the temple. His sacrifice was rendered pointless, as the history that led us here proved to be no more than fables. I'm certain a great power dwelt here once, but it's long gone. Perhaps claimed by another. There's nowhere left for me to go, no reason for me to pursue an existence beyond these walls. So I shall perish here as well. With the knowledge of my life's work, my very purpose was to waste. Or perhaps I should return to the guardian that fell to my friend, and allow it to take me as well. I'll final tribute to the Eldritch son of old. Following today's investigation of the tombs and temples of Corvin City, I must say I am more confused and frankly enthralled by the Corvin's fate than I could possibly imagined. Today I had the privilege to bear witness to a ceremony at the Temple of Ran, where the Ascendant himself was present to perform the honorable rite. It's my understanding that Ran holds the domain over the sun itself, and it is by his blessing that the sun rises each day to warm the earth and give life to the harvest. The ceremony itself was brief, and involved the slaughter of 5 goats upon the golden altar, their blood spilling into the carving in the form of a many-pronged sun. Ran was a splendor to behold, his skin as golden as the suit of armor he wore. The armor glowed with burning energy, and it's some of the acolytes in the temple. I'm going to go inside the temple because it's actually more reading appropriate there. Or conductive at least. Mine. Alright. The armor glowed with burning energy, and yet, as some acolytes in temple described to me from their blessed occasions to lay their hands upon it, it is cool to the touch. With the way he presents himself, it's easy to see why his followers believe this man to be a deity. The acolytes tell me that this is actually the 12th reincarnation of Ran. His father was the 11th, and so down the patrilineal chain of his family. And so on down the patrilineal chain of his family. Each of them had allegedly lived for centuries, and each of them had willingly given his life in service of the Eldritch Sun. I was astonished to discover that the deification of this figure was his birthright. Deification of this figure was his birthright. It does, however, leave credence to my suspicions regarding the true nature of these Corvin gods. The acolytes of the temple were more than eager to share Ran's history with me. I swear if I let them, they'll talk all day of his council's accomplishments and divine intervention. But what did catch my attention was the presumed rivalry between Ran and another deity they called Atep, the Lord of the Moon. As this rivalry heated up, Atep, I've learned, had slighted the Eldritch Sun and was thus banished from setting foot in Corvin City, or to ever feel the warmth of the day upon his flesh. or to ever again feel the warmth of the day upon its flesh. But the divine Korvac was not without mercy. Once every 30 cycles of the sun, the disgraced 8 temples to make pilgrimage to Corvin City, make an offering upon the great temple steps. This is an extraordinary and incredibly creative explanation for the cycling of the day and night, and the wax and wane of the moon. If this strange practice of ascension wasn't enough, the people of Corvin Valley also appear to deify native animals, sometimes odd combinations of people and animals. The Corvin Griffin is an example, is a particularly common target of this practice. The creatures apparently live in rigid hierarchical packs, which elevate a singular, usually male, individual to an alpha known as the Corvin, by the Corvin people as sovereign. These Griffin sovereigns are then worshipped by locals as minor deities. The intricacies of the Corvin fate are remarkable, but must not go unmentioned that they all lead back to Korvac in one fashion or another. I should focus future investigations on this penultimate deity. I can no longer count the days since I first arrived in Corvin City. I've been so enveloped by my work that I've lost track of the rising and setting of the sun. Ron will be so disappointed in me. I find it difficult to put my attention away. I've hired a young man to bring me meals 3 times a day. I must admit they're piling up outside the door to my chambers. My time is spent poring over mountains of texts and tomes and rites and ceremonies, in an attempt to better understand the origins of this Korvac. What I've learned thus far is truly fascinating. As far back as I go, there seems to be no inconsistency into his presence or his domain, no evolution of his worship. It is as if the core of Corvin religion had somehow remained pure since its inception. Quite unusual. It is that, or its founders had put a great deal of effort into obscuring its true origins. The texts I peruse make it seem as though their rites and rituals are performed today, as they were first prescribed centuries ago. According to these texts, the Korvac reigns over the Eldritch realm, a plane of existence parallel to our own of his very making. They say no mortal may bear witness upon its splendors and live. Some fools tried anyway and paid a price for it. The texts warn of a many-eyed guardian that stands as warning to all that would dare trespass upon the god's domain. A many-eyed guardian, eh? Fools trespassing. Who does that sound like to you? This is why the other 3 are so concerned Daddy's coming home. Forgotten gods indeed. Anyway. Korvac himself is said to be primordial, ancient, and eternal, the progenitor of all that mankind cherishes. From his Eldritch throne, the Corvin god ascended numerous champions to enforce his rule. He even been known to elevate those that dare challenge his worship as a means to appease them, forever turning former foes into steadfast allies. The now familiar names of Ran and Atab came up several times, and familiar tales spun around Korvac's divine actions. The history of the Corvin fate is indeed generations in the making. The Eldritch Sun is depicted as both the blessed flame and the dreadful terror of destruction. It seems that he's both adored and feared by those that show him reverence, and with good reason. Though Korvac is generally depicted as benevolent to his followers, there are numerous records of disasters or outright cleansings that are attributed to the god's retribution for mortals displeasing him. Though some of the events seem eerily familiar, though I cannot recall why. I suspect there are similar mythos which I've been exposed to in nearby regions. There are also a number of rituals which bear a marked similarity to primitive practices I have researched in the past. This leads me to wonder if there are other tribes and civilizations that have been worshipping Korvac since antiquity, but perhaps by a different name. This is a matter which will necessitate further investigation. I have made a startling discovery while on my latest foray into the Corvin texts. While exploring the vast collection of the Corvin City Library, I briefly escaped the attention of the stewards and found my way to a closed-off archive. Among ancient birth records of some of the most prestigious Corvin families, several descendants included, I unearthed a collection of texts that appear to shatter some of the core tenets of very fate that is central to these people's lives. A large number of the pages were badly damaged, as if whatever ward cast upon them had finally dissipated. Strangely, the parchment itself appeared newer than some of the records I've seen, Perhaps someone had restored a damaged record at a later date. The bits that I could make out, however, painted a very different account of the early years of the Corvin fate. Corvin himself was shown as a usurper, a conqueror of a realm he had no part in making. It is not entirely clear if the Korvac that is shown today is even the same one described in those texts, or whether that is the name given to the master of the Eldritch throne. Another curiosity was the description of the upheaval involved in such a transaction of power, a whirlwind of creation and destruction within which were caught the unfortunate believers. Sadly, before I could complete my analysis of the text, when the stewards discovered my presence in the Kozef archive and promptly chased me out of the building. While little I've managed to read offers some troubling concerns. Is Korvac's rule destined to falter as it had before? If so, will the same destruction consume these people when it does? It's truly a shame I could not spend more time with those texts, as they represented a fantastic culmination of my research into the origins of the Corvin fate. Alas, I must prepare to leave this land, and though I have learned a great deal, I'm certain there is more than a lifetime of knowledge hidden away here. The devotion and machinations of the Corvin people have proven to be one of my most fascinating studies. As this is now my 4th request for an increased guard retinue for our caravans, consider this a formal complaint, and if my addresses are not concerned in a forthright manner, you can be certain that my voice will be heard by the Merchant Guild. I've been told my lack of previous correspondence have been I've been told my previous correspondence had been ignored due to lack of evidence of increased criminal activity on the Karen docks to Corvin City route. I assure you, criminals are the least of our concerns. I imagine the thugs we normally contend with are facing the same constant onslaught we are. There's been a staggering increase in wildlife activity across the Corvin Basin. The natural predators are emboldened, attacking single travelers and sometimes the caravans themselves in broad daylight. In my time managing caravan, I've seen nothing like it. They appear crazed as if driven mad by something. In addition, there have been numerous sightings of previously unknown and peculiar beasts traveling in packs, stalking caravans through the deepest desert. One of my most trusted drivers has even reported a Griffin matriarch down on the valley floor. What could possibly drive those behemoths down from their lofty perches? Whatever it is, we need to secure the caravans or risk shipments stopping altogether. I've lost such large quantities of product and men over the past month that trade ships have begun to complain about deliveries not reaching merchants in the city. It's becoming more and more difficult to hire new hands because of rumours flying around of what happened to the previous crews. We must have more guards secure the caravans. Sure, you magistrate types can imagine your life without fine wine and graceful silks. Let us not forget that it is the caravans and the courageous drivers that bring such luxuries, and it is the wealth of these very caravans that fund your comfy seats. Respectfully, Rohan, Caravan Master. Gutsy bastard. This'll just skip me ahead. A little bit. Does this have an inherent to it? No. I was thinking like the other weapon had, so I can remember if this did. Also, goddamn, I attack so fast. It's because of savagery. Ah. I'm kind of let down by those moves. It's kind of weird to find like Solal's Malice in here. But so going by those other notes, Korvac is just a usurper. It wasn't really Daddy coming home to roost, and that's why they're scared. Aww. That's disappointing. Actually, even if I get Korvac down today, I still have the Ancient Grove to clear. And then I do have to come back for more. Like, there's going to be another quest chain introduced at some stage.